start again. The microphone this time. It's 5:30, so we'll call to order this meeting for Monday, July 26th. Karl, would you start us off with a roll call, please?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Present.
Remley.
Present.
Lunsman.
Present.
Reif.
Present.
Johnson. Reinbold.
Present.
Langer. Rux.
Present.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Not aware of any changes to the agenda as it's printed, so I would take a motion to approve the agenda as it was distributed.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Remley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Agenda is approved. Next, we'll approve the minutes in the same order from the meeting of July 19th.
Move approval. Second.
A motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Remley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Move on to open forum where I saw nobody sign up to speak, which leaves us with our consent calendar. We've got 5 items of routine city business, including that work session that we'd been talking about on August 9th at 5 p.m. Take a motion to approve our consent calendar, please.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Any changes or ideas or thoughts on that? Councilman Ronayne.
You know, I'll be here if it's got to be on the 9th, but I thought that was a week off. If we're gonna have a week off, I for one would rather do this at 4:30 before a council meeting. But if the rest of council wants to make it not to have a week off, that's fine too.
Any other input on that topic? How do the rest of you guys feel?
I'm fine either way.
I'm good either way.
Same here.
I think I lose. I think I lost.
No, we do either way.
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
we don't matter. It doesn't
We're
matter
fine.
to us.
Well, the way it was last year, we split it up into 2 and did 45 minutes and 45 minutes, and that worked out well. With having this open meeting, just decided to do it and get it all over at once. But we can do it either way.
Do you think you need an hour and a half? Is that what you're thinking? I didn't think it took that long. I thought it was really half an hour. But
We used up pretty much the 45 minutes both times last year.
Okay.
And how about when does it need to be voted on, and when does that process need to happen to meet all the necessary requirements?
Well, if we didn't do it in one shot on the 9th, we could do it in the next 2 meetings, split up. We could meet at 4:30, so we could bring this back. It's not a big deal. Bring it back to the next meeting if we want to do something different.
At the same point, we don't get the budget until next Monday.
Correct.
Like you say, to me, there's merit in doing it 2 meetings, spreading over 2 weeks in case we have questions, but at the same point, getting it one and done is advantageous too.
And if we don't get it till next week, it probably does make sense to do it as you got it scheduled, Joe.
Okay. Does anybody want to further discuss this issue, or have you kind of rescinded that input then, Rob?
I think it doesn't work well. It would have been if maybe we'd started a week earlier, but it's fine.
Sounds good. And we did have our motion and second, correct? Karl? All right. I believe that was Remley and Lunsman, if I'm not mistaken, but you've noted it, so we're good to go. All in favor of approving the consent calendar, please say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. Motion does carry on that. We'll move forward to our old business section, in which we've got our second reading for the ordinance, amending Chapter 2, Administration of the Aberdeen City Code, following voter approval of the revised Aberdeen Home Rule Charter and the state law changes. And this would be the second and final adoption of that ordinance. And here to speak about that is City Attorney Ron.
Mr. Mayor, I've received no comments from the public or from any of the council members. So again, would recommend approval, second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion, Councilman Remley, second, Councilman Reinbold. Anything at this point? The child doesn't like it. The rest of us are all right. Karl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Move forward with our new business. Our first item of the day will be the instrument extinguishing a drainage easement in the Sour Wine First subdivision. This would be a possible approval of that instrument for stormwater drainage easement in that first subdivision, and the authorized city manager to execute and record the same. And Robin, you'll tell us about that?
Sure. The original purpose for the easement was to provide a method for getting the water off of a cul-de-sac and take it into a backyard holding pond area for a new subdivision. The method worked fine for the first year or two, and then as the turf grew, we were backing water up more on the street than we were getting it into the holding pond. So we ended up having to install a storm sewer inlet there to pick the water up before it went into the easement. At this point, there is no purpose for that easement or holding pond anymore, so we asked Ron to put together the paperwork to make it go away.
Move to make it go away.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Remley, and so those easements are just absorbed by those adjacent lots that they appear to be part of then? Correct. Any questions or comments? All right, then, Karl, would you give us a roll call vote on that, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the payment for the North Dakota Street Roadway Improvement Project. This would be payment number 2 to Reedy Construction for $803,808 for work on the project to date. Robin will tell us about that big payment.
The second half of the mainline paving is complete. They have got most of the sidewalks, corner ramps, topsoil, just about all of the kind of the beginning of the finish up work is done now. So this is it's a big chunk of money, but all the concrete is basically down now. So it's moving ahead in the right direction. We're still on schedule for completion before school.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion from Councilman Reif and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Does anyone have any questions for Robin on this one? All right. Karl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the authorization to purchase 2021 Yamaha ATV from Beaglers. Payment to Beaglers Motorsports for $16,092.10, as well as declare 2 vehicles, a 2005 and a 2007 Harley-Davidson motorcycle, as surplus property for trade-in value to Beaglers on that. And here to tell us about that is Chief McNeil.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This summer, through our response to several incidents and some operational things that occurred, we identified a need to have basically an AT vehicle that we can carry people and equipment on, deployed off-road. The use of this vehicle is for patrolling our parks and trail systems, response to incidents and events, searching for missing people, clearing areas of suspicious objects and hazards, and evidence searches. There's also a community policing aspect with a vehicle like this, crowd management, accessibility assistance for community engagement and parade purposes. So we really don't have anything that meets that need. And again, we identified that this would be a useful piece of equipment. While we did not budget for a machine like this, we offer up 2 motorcycles in trade for this purchase. And we've identified that there are ways that we could budget the rest of the funds for this.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Rux. Does anyone have any questions for the chief? Were those Harley's patrol vehicles?
They were, yep, they were.
These no longer serve the purpose anymore.
Yeah, so, if you look at the vehicles, we purchased them several years ago, and the officers that we trained at the time have moved on to leadership positions, and the interest we have in using those to patrol isn't there. I would also offer up that while I want to say our roads are safe, there are several things.
Guys, it's muted. I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
Give Karl just a second.
I think she has to unmute it from her end.
I did. See, I always have issues with the microphone.
Or your. There.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, usually I feel like I get muted.
All right. Well, I do a lot of talking with my hands, so I figured you probably caught up to what I was saying here. So, anyhow, great question about do we need these motorcycles anymore? There's one aspect with using a police motorcycle to patrol, and basically it's safety of the officer. Different things have changed over the years. Obviously, we know that being on a police motorcycle to affect traffic stops is an aggressive movement, and sadly, sometimes being on a motorcycle, those riders aren't necessarily seen. So the aggressive driving on a motorcycle for traffic apprehension adds a new element to danger and safety with officers, and you add in distracted driving, and again, that's one more thing that people are, sometimes inattentive to. So there's less of a need for that, more of a need to have something that we can use off-road, and we can use it at all seasons, and the motorcycles we can't. I think that four wheels in our parks and our trail system, when we're doing some of the things that I talk about, are a lot better. Obviously, on a motorcycle, you have two wheels, and you kind of have to sometimes pay attention to where you're driving, and you don't have a passenger that can help you in situations. So, great question with that, though.
Okay, anything else? Otherwise, Karl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye, sorry.
no, Reinbold,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, thank you very much, Chief. I appreciate you joining us tonight. Next, we've got the presentation of the first quarter activities report for the CVB. And here to tell us all about that is the Executive Director, Casey Wiseman. Casey, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm actually going to cover quarter one and quarter two briefly, not to scare anybody, but I did have the information available, so I thought it'd be just as well to get everybody up to speed. I appreciate you allowing me to come and present to the group and City Council, Mayor Shoneman, Manager Gaa. I did provide everybody a little one-sheeter, quick reference for you all to take in. It kind of sums up a lot of our marketing efforts and our digital capabilities, along with our website traffic and social media presence for Aberdeen. I did provide all of the information to our City Council page on our website, visit aberdeensd.com. I would encourage you to take a look at that information when you have some free time. There's a lot of information on there that I would love to bring to this meeting, but my time is short, and I don't want to ruin your night with numbers. So if we could, we'll just kind of go over the digital platform, and if you guys have any questions along the way or after the presentation, I would accommodate those. Looking at quarter one, you can see our page views were up. One thing I want to point out when it comes to page views and users, we also have that broke down to unique page views and new users. So if you look at the users alone of 8,800, 8,500 of those were new people to the website. So that's great. Those are new people that we're reaching and marketing to. Quarter two, same thing. Looking at page views, unique page views, and then the users and new users. 44,000 users and almost 44,000 new users as well. So again, we're marketing to new individuals. We're trying to get that message out there. You can look that our sessions are up, our pages per sessions are up. Our session durations are down in quarter one, and that could just be flat out that they're finding the information they need and readily available. And the average time per page is up for quarter one as well. So that kind of the gray area gives us a synopsis on our website traffic for visitaberdeensd.com. The orange area there, or the brown area, is our marketing, our digital marketing and print marketing. We like to track our campaigns that we have currently in process. For quarter one, we had 8 campaigns, and quarter two, we had 24. Quarter one reached 1.4 million impressions, so 1.4 million people were interacted with our marketing efforts. And quarter two, 27.7 million impressions. And we garner this information from the media kits provided by the marketing agencies that we work with. Are those numbers pretty steadfast? There's probably a little error, or a little room for error in there. But it is nice to see that those campaigns are working for us. The green area are some in-house campaigns that we do. We utilize Constant Contact. We have a database of, on the hunting side of things, about 16,000 emails that we garner at the click of a message or a click of a button. And on the visit side, we're anywhere from 30 to 40, depending on the groups that we choose. So for quarter one, we had 21 newsletters that went out. We sent those to 414,000 email addresses. We had an open rate of 18% and a click rate of 10%. Click rate being a call to action. The 18% is them actually opening the email. The 10% is them actually calling to action, doing something that we kind of require in that email. Quarter two, our campaigns, we had 25. We reached 519,000 email addresses with an open rate of 17% and a click rate of 10%. We like those numbers. We like to see those numbers. Obviously, we like to utilize this campaign to direct everybody back to our website as well. So that's where you'll see some of those numbers fluctuate. Facebook, everybody knows what Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter does. Our numbers were up quarter one and quarter two for followers. Our impressions were up dramatically for quarter one and quarter two. Instagram, same way. Our numbers were up for followers quarter one, quarter two. And impressions, they have a new metrics that they're using, so I didn't have the data to compare that to for 2020. Twitter, quarter one, quarter two, our followers are up, and our impressions are up as well. We rely heavily on Facebook. That kind of seems to be the mainstream media for Joe Public and us communicating with them. We are striving to utilize Instagram and Twitter a little more often. And Joe's favorite, Catherine in our office, utilizing YouTube with her YouTube videos that she puts out. She gets a kick out of doing those, and the engagement rate we're getting from those as well obviously serves our purpose. In that information I have on the website, I also have an economic breakdown that I provided. And this economic breakdown is the meetings, conventions, sporting events, reunions, anything that we've had a thumbprint on, whether we've provided visitor packets for, whether we've promoted through social media, whether we've secured a police escort for, anything that we've had contact with, we log. Obviously, there's more events that happen out there that we are unaware of that come to Aberdeen, and we appreciate those events as well, but these are the events that we're able to log. For quarter one and quarter two year to date, there were 70 events that we logged. And we track everything from the attendees, the days spent in Aberdeen, the percentage of out-of-town visitors that come, the hotel stays, the number of nights that they stay per hotel. And we can take all of that information, tabulate an economic impact. And if there's family that tags along, we can have a family economic impact adder. And then we can break that down to a hotel economic impact and give us a total overall impact of the events that are happening in Aberdeen. And I would really love to have you look at that, because there's some numbers there that are pretty amazing. Occupancy has been up. Obviously, everything is up compared to 2020, and we are not taking credit for that. We're actually trying to hold our hand to the fire and hold our hand more towards 2019. because I don't want to give you smoke and mirrors of everything's great. We're blowing 2020 out of the water. Everybody is. But we're holding ourselves to a little higher standard. We're going to compare to 2019. And our occupancy tax is rebounding very nicely. January, February, March, April, May, we are consistent in that 18 to 25,000 range. Karl's shaking his head. Thank you. What does that break down? That breaks down to hotels. That breaks down to visitors that are actually staying in Aberdeen. That's our best way. You've heard me say it before. That's our best way to gauge visitor traffic coming to Aberdeen is when they rent a hotel, they pay that $2 tax. So that is our visitor that is coming to Aberdeen. And it's nice to see that those numbers are in line or just barely below 2019. We also track SIC codes, and that's a taxable receipts on lodging, eating, and drinking. And again, we compared ourselves to 2019. It isn't fair to compare ourselves to 2020. But overall, SIC codes, we are tracking at roughly just a hair over 8 million versus 7,773,000 for 2019 at this time. So again, those are taxable receipts. That's money that people are spending while they're here on lodging, eating, and drinking. And then again, we're proud. We work with the Aberdeen Hotel Alliance to help fund events that are happening in Aberdeen. Quarter one, we have bull riding, NCAA basketball tournament, Special Olympics, which will actually happen this fall, but they were awarded money. There was an RC race for the RC club here in town. They just had a track tutorial and race that brought in people from around the U.S. Boys and Girls Club, Western Pro-Am, and the Dakota Cup soccer tournament. Obviously, all of those events cause for some major concern, people looking for hotel rooms in June and July, and we love that. Second quarter, the Sizzlin' Summer Nights Car Show, the South Dakota Karting Championship, Storybook Land Festival Arts in the Park, Royal Rumble Disc Golf, Midwest Regional Water Ski Tournament, which just happened this last weekend. I was coming back from fishing on Sunday morning, and I saw nothing but trucks and boats heading out of town. And they were all the ski boats with the 3 motors on the back that they use at the water ski tournament. So they had a great event. Those guys had a tremendous event, and the weather was perfect. And then the Aberdeen Swim Club swim meet. So with that being said, we do a lot of day in and day out at the CVB. I would love to have you guys stop by and see our office. We're in our new location. We're still adjusting to how that lays out. But we're really happy where we're at. We love to see the events happening right out our back door. It's kind of cool. But the office has been working really hard, bringing meetings and conventions and sporting events. Reunions are up. That's the biggest thing I guess I could probably hang my hat on, is the amount of people that are gathering with their families to host that reunion that they didn't get in 2019 or 2020, to see those reunions happening again. And that's, again, visitor traffic coming to Aberdeen and new sets of eyes that we can give visitor bags to. So with that, any questions on your guys' behalf, I'd love to entertain. Like I said, I do have the information loaded on the website. The information by arrival list from South Dakota Tourism is something to note as well. It tracks that visitor traffic coming to Aberdeen. It tracks how much time they spend in the area, and it tracks where they visit on their way home. So that information alone gives us a good idea on where we should probably spend our marketing dollars, or maybe where we've already spent and we can look for new avenues. So I guess that's all I have. Anybody has any questions?
Casey, looking at the occupancy tax,
Yes, sir.
I know there's a bit of a delay there because
Yep.
of collecting the tax the following month.
Yes, sir.
But the 3 biggest months have historically, or at least 3 of the biggest months have been June, July, August. 2 of those months are in the books now. You feel pretty good about the way that occupancy tax probably will turn out for us?
I do. Some of that Justin can attest to. When we meet with the Hotel Alliance for their monthly meetings, we always kind of probe them, because we know that there's a little bit of a delay on when the numbers actually get to us to report. But we can kind of probe them, hey, what does May look like? What does June look like? And the positive reviews we're getting there. That's what we try to hang our hat on. Of course, numbers don't lie, you know, but when I hear from friends and family that they had a hard time finding a hotel room in Aberdeen in June, I love to hear that. So, I mean, I don't want them staying with me either, but, you know, rent a hotel, give that $2. No.
Yeah.
But no, that's really all we can gauge is their feedback until those numbers do come in.
Sure. It looks like it's definitely trending in the right direction.
Yep.
For sure. Other questions for Casey? Clint, what have you got?
Yes, sir.
You know, sticking on the hotel room side, of course, we love to hear that hotel rooms are hard to come by, but the people coming to Aberdeen for a lot of the events that are getting put on, it's actually a detriment.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, because we're missing opportunities for people to come to certain events and certain sporting things, etc. Because I can't get a hotel room, I'm just not going.
Yep.
So what are you hearing from?
We have to be very strategic on our end when we are working with these entities, whether it's swim or soccer or lacrosse or something else escapes me. But whenever they all want the same weekend, we have to do some work on our end to kind of cut them off at the pass to say, hey, you know, we had to do that actually about 2 or 3 years back with soccer and swim. They were both on Father's Day weekend with Arts in the Park. And there wasn't, not so much hotel rooms, there wasn't a parking spot to be had down at the soccer complex and Arts in the Park. And with everything happening, we have to do our due diligence to try to steer them to another weekend. But you're right, it does come down to we have to have the hotels. If we don't have the hotels, we can't host the event. You have to have the facility. If you don't have the facility, you can't host the event. So a little bit on our end, our hands are tied at times because there are only so many hotel rooms to be had in Aberdeen, and there's only so many dates that are available per venue in Aberdeen or per facility in Aberdeen.
And of course that doesn't, you know, when we have an event like I see 953 athletes for the Clay Target Championship.
That was amazing.
It's amazing, but it's probably a sellout when you consider, you know, other things are going on, certainly like weddings and your family reunions and all that. You know, as I'm hearing more and more, there are just no hotel rooms on weekends to be had anywhere.
And everything's kind of shifting. You know, for meetings and conventions, we're seeing more and more that they like to host things on Friday, Saturday, and a lot of that is the hotel or the conference coordinators or the South Dakota Association of whatever. They want you to use your free time to attend that conference instead of sending you. Typically, in years past, might have been a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday conference. Very rarely do you see that anymore. Everything is usually Thursday at the earliest, but normally a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you have that on top of wedding season. You have that on top of family reunions. You have that on top of just regular day business travel. It's a busy time. You know, my job is to fill hotels. You know, if you can help build some more hotels, I'll try to fill them.
Well, usually by having your hotels full, that someone will see that, but we've actually lost hotel rooms, especially in the last year. So even though we added one, we still lost hotel rooms.
We don't talk about that, Clint.
In the general scheme of things. So, like I say, it's just one of those things where I just know everyone who talks to me who comes for the soccer or the swim, you know, people just wanting to come and even go to Storybook Land. There's just nowhere for them to go, and they're just like, I'm going to go somewhere else. I have this weekend. I'm just going to go somewhere else, and it's now becoming the problem where we're missing out. And people will choose to go other places, wherever it is.
I wish I had that remedy button for that. I really do.
We all do. So, but like I say, it's just one of those things where I didn't know what you're hearing from your hotel people on. You know, I know staffing is tough too. So.
Turnover's terrible.
So.
Anybody else?
So another question that I've got for you real quick, Casey, on the campaigns. Those are like the giveaways and things like that you're doing on Facebook. I know that you'd seen some for the Storybook Land Festival and that's what you're considering a campaign?
Actually not. The campaigns, the green section, would be either a newsletter or a blog. I call them blogs when they're a little geared towards the hunting side of things. But that would either be a newsletter or a blog that myself or Catherine send out of the office. And I would love to include you guys if you want to be so part of that. But it basically is just, it might advertise upcoming events. It might advertise some big hitters that are happening. It might entice them to go to our website and register for free ride tickets for Storybook Land. What it's geared toward is to give them awareness of everything that's happening that they might take interest to, but also we're always trying to drive them back to the website to have that engagement rate back to the website. The Facebook, the blue area, the impressions, that would be some of your giveaways. Register for Wings tickets, register for Brown County Speedway tickets. We do that just to keep the engagement rate high on our social media, but we've also partnered with those entities to give us free tickets. So it's a great way to promote an event. When we promote an event, we look at it as an attraction as well. We promote those events. We're lucky enough to have those partners to work with. So
Sounds good. I've just seen a lot of activity there, and it looks like you're getting a lot of good traction from those contests. Anything else for Casey?
Justin had one, I think.
Do you want to mention what's going on tomorrow night?
Yeah, I would love to. I didn't know if I get a chance, but Aberdeen is hosting the MVPA, Military Vehicle Preservation Association. They are hosting a reunion convoy in Aberdeen. And what is this, you ask? These are guys that are crazy passionate about preserving military vehicles. You could have anything from a Willys Army Jeep to a vehicle that's about the size of this room, believe it or not. And it's parked out at the Brown County Fairgrounds. But what it is, it's a reunion convoy. And these guys come from all over the U.S. to rendezvous, that's a cool word, to rendezvous in Aberdeen for a couple days. And then they will depart Aberdeen on their way to Ohio for a D-Day reenactment. Aberdeen is fortunate enough. We've been working with our contact, John Varner, for over a year and a half now to host this event. But Tuesday evening from 5 to 7, all the vehicles will be parked out at the parking lot between Wiley Lake and Thunder Road. And we're encouraging the public to come out and kick the tires and climb all over these things, I guess with permission, but we're encouraging the public to come out and see these vehicles. These are vehicles that you probably have never seen or will never see ever again. And the amount of work that these guys put into these vehicles to maintain them is amazing. And then Wednesday morning, again, with the help of the City Council and Chief McNeil, there will be a departure parade leaving the fairgrounds at 8 o'clock in the morning, traveling down 281 bypass to Melgard Road, going all the way down Melgard Road and curving back around and intersecting Highway 12 by Menards there. And then they will be departing Aberdeen, heading east to Ohio. These vehicles travel at a top speed with a strong tailwind of about 35 miles an hour. And they travel about 100 to 150 miles per day, and then they'll rest for a few days and just keep traveling. So they have I think it's about a 1,200 mile trip that they will be participating in. So we've tried to flood social media. We've gotten the American News involved. We've gotten Cooper Seamer with Dakota News Now involved. Anything you guys can do to help get the word out or share that event. It's on the Aberdeen CVB Facebook page. We would love to see the Aberdeen residents come out and strongly support that. So, yeah, absolutely.
Good suggestion, Justin, and thank you very much, Casey. Really appreciate your hard work.
Thank you.
And really paying off for us here. With that, we will move along to our review and approval of our bills for the week of July 26th. Can I get a motion to pay our bills?
Move to approve. Second.
A motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Otherwise, Karl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the city manager's report in here to share. That is Joe Gaa.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple little things on the budget as we discussed. The next week, the August 2nd, will be kind of you'll get your draft budgets. We'll do a little insight into that with my budget message. And then on the 9th, we'll go through both sides of the operating and the capital, in hopes of, as we discussed earlier, getting it kind of done in one night. And you're going to see these are draft budgets. They'll look a little bit different than what you've gotten the first time around last time. That way, we can have some interaction, make some changes, and then bring those back to you in a couple weeks for final approval in the month of September. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have anything to contribute?
Move to adjourn.
I was going to throw in one little thing before we do. Aberdeen resident Michael Andrew placed in the Olympics. He got 4th place, I guess, so one step off from the medal podium, which is quite an accomplishment for a young athlete. And so congratulations to Michael, who used to live right down the street. Wow. And with that, we will take the motion to adjourn. Rob gives us a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second from Councilman Remley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.